Hi everyone. Today we're going to be doing some word problems with fractions. And so far you've been learning how to divide mixed numbers and fractions and mixed numbers, whole numbers, and all of that. But sometimes it gets a little bit confusing when you're doing a word problem. So I have created 4 word problems that we're going to be able to do together. And then your teachers may want to assign you some other problems in their own Google Classroom. So the first one is, I'll read it to you. It says, Mrs. Smith bought a bag of candy. The bag weighed half a pound. She split the bag into 3 equal portions. How much did each portion weigh? So we need to think, what is being split up? Are we splitting up the bags or are we splitting up the candy? Well, you should have realized we're splitting up the candy. So here we only have a half a pound of candy to be split. So half a pound, half comes first. That's our first number because that is what we are dividing up into pieces. And we're splitting it into 3 pieces. So here's my division sign. Sorry, it's a little messy. And we're dividing that by 3. Okay? So if we reverse these numbers, we get a very different answer. Because here we have a half a pound divided by 3. If we had 3 divided by a half, we would get a bigger number. Now we're going to get a small number because 1/2 is being divided up. So when we do that, we need to take our 1/2 and think about how we could split that 3 times. Well, with division, we keep our 1/2. We can change our sign, keep, change, and then we flip. So to make 3 into a fraction, you just put it over a 1. So now we have 2 fractions to work with, and that makes it a little bit easier. So we want to take the reciprocal of our 3 over 1, which is 1/3. And when we multiply that, we get 1/6. So each bag is going to have 1/6 of candy, 1/6 pounds, of candy in the bag. Now, a good way to check ourselves is to do the opposite. So here, I'm going to actually change my color. So here, we did 1/2 divided by 3. I'm going to check my answer. I'm going to check myself by doing my answer, 1/6, times 3. And again, in order to do that, I put my 3 over 1 to make a fraction times a fraction, and then I multiply across. And if you notice, 3 times 1 is 3, 6 times 1 is 6, and if we reduce 3/6, we get 1/2. So as you can see, here's my 1/2, which matches my 1/2 here. So I can check myself by doing the opposite of division, which is multiplication. I take the answer I got and I times it by my whole number. So that's just a little way to check yourself if this still doesn't make any sense. So let's try the next one. Mom was making 4 servings of mac and cheese. She divided 2/3 of an ounce of pepper evenly into all 4 servings. How much pepper did each serving get? So, am I splitting up my servings or am I splitting up my pepper? I'll give you a minute to think about that. you should be splitting up your pepper. I want to change my color again. Okay, we are splitting up 2/3 of an ounce of pepper, and we're dividing it by 4. So again, 2/3 divided by 4 equals what? Okay, and again, I can't cross cancel anything. There's nothing to cancel out, but I am going to put my 4 over 1 so that I have a fraction divided by a fraction. And I'm going to try and remember, keep, change, flip. So I'm going to keep my 2/3 the way it is. I'm going to change my sign to a multiplication sign, and I'm going to take the reciprocal of my 4 over 1, which is 1 over 4. I still can't cancel anything, cross cancel or anything like that. So I'm just going to multiply. Actually, I can cross cancel if you really wanted to. 2 and 4 can get canceled out. 2 becomes 1, 4 becomes 2. So then I can multiply across. 1 times 1 is 1. 3 times 2 is 6. So 2/3 divided by 4 is 1/6. And again, I could check myself by saying 1/6 times 4, and that should give me 2/3. 4 over 1. It's looking good. 4 times 1 is 4. 6 times 1 is 6. And when I reduce 4/6, I get 2/3. So my answer is correct, 1/6. Okay, now let's try something a little bit different. Dad made 5 5/6 pints of iced tea. He poured the iced tea evenly into cups that hold 5/6 of a pint each. How many cups did he pour? So now I need to think, what am I dividing up? Am I dividing up my 5/6? Or am I dividing up my iced tea of how much Dad made, 5 5/6 pints? Well, I'm dividing up my 5 5/6 pints. So my first number is going to be 5 5/6. And I am dividing that by 5/6 because each cup holds 5/6 of a pint. And I want to know how many pints I'm actually going to be able to pour, or how many cups I'm going to be able to pour. So this one's a little tricky. This time, before I do anything, I'm going to change my mixed number into an improper fraction. So let's do that. 6 times 5 is 30. 30 plus 5 is 35. 35 over 6. And I'm still dividing. I didn't change anything yet. I'm still dividing by 5 over 6. So now I have two fractions to work with. Sometimes that's a little bit easier. So now I need to think about how I divide two fractions. Again, keep, change, flip. So I'm going to do 35 keep this fraction the way it is, 35 over 6. I'm going to change my sign, and then I'm going to take the reciprocal of my 5/6, which is 6/5. Now, once I do that, I see very clearly that I can cross cancel. So my sixes cancel. My 5 becomes a 1. And 7 times 5 is 35. So now it's very easy for me to multiply through. 7 times 1 is 7. 1 times 1 is 1. And that is 7. So I can make 7 cups of iced tea because each cup holds 5/6 of an ounce. I'm sorry, 5/6 of a pint. Let's try one more. Joey bought 3 1/3 pounds of flour for his restaurant. He needs to split it up into 2/3 pound bags. How many bags could he make? So again, I need to think, what am I splitting? Am I splitting the flour or am I splitting the bags? Well, that's silly. I can't split a bag. So I'm going to split the flour. So I have 3 1/3 pounds of flour, and I'm going to split it into bags that hold 2/3 of a pound of flour. Just like the previous problem, I'm going to change this into an improper fraction. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10. I have 10/3 divided by 2/3. I don't see anything to cross cancel, but I do need to change my equation. So I have 10/3, keep. I'm going to change my sign and write the reciprocal of my 2/3, which is 3/2. Now I can clearly see things to cross cancel. 3 and 3 cross cancel. 2 and 10 cross cancel. 2 times 5 is 10. And when you multiply through, 5 times 1 is 5. 1 times 1 is 1, which is simply written as 5. So Joey can create 5 bags of flour. That is the end of this video. I hope you are able to do some problems on your own. If not, your teachers are available to help you. Have a great day.